We have bands, the team bands to go with the team plans. Today is the launch of the team bands, my stressful little strips of fabric from sampling to shipping to photo shoots falling through. It has been a whole 2020 to do to arrive at this point, but we are here. We have arrived. I finally get to share these with you and I could not be more excited. I did tease at this in my last video, but today we're gonna get into all the details. So what they are, the inspiration behind them, how to use them, as well as how to get them. If you're not familiar with resistance bands, think of this like a big elastic band. The more that you stretch it, the more resistance it's gonna provide. So if you've ever taken a course in physics, you may remember something called Hooke's law, which states that within certain limits, the force required to stretch an elastic object is directly proportional to the extension of that object. So this can be applied to springs, elastic bands, a bow and arrow, like anything that you can think of. When you stretch it, then goes back to its original form. That is what this applies to. So the key difference between using a band versus using a weight is that no matter how you position a weight or hold a weight, it's always going to provide the same amount of resistance. Whereas with a resistance band, the more that you stretch it, the more difficulty you're gonna get from it. There are many different types of resistance bands. If you've ever done any searching on Amazon, you've probably seen physio or Pilates bands, which are those like long, very thin bands that tear very easily. You might be familiar with tube resistance bands, which are often just like a long line, and they're like a tubing of rubber and they have handles on the end. Or you might have seen a band that's similar to this, but is made from rubber. The key differences between these and other resistance bands is that first of all, these are made out of fabric. I have a lot of lights in the room right now, so I'll put a picture on screen instead to show you kind of how the fabric looks. But because they're made out of fabric and not like a rubber or some sort of rubber type material, this means that they're not going to pinch against your skin. They're not going to tangle if you throw them in a bag together. They will not snap, break, or even snap back and hurt you. So that is a major benefit of using a fabric versus a rubber-based band. Another key difference is that these are what's called loop resistance bands. Hello. Because they're in the shape of a loop. They are connected on all sides to form a circle. This as compared to some of those tube resistance bands or just kind of like straight bands that require either a door jamb or some sort of external anchoring system. The benefit of loop bands is that all you need is your body. Like you can take these anywhere, your body is your equipment, and once you secure these to your body, you're gonna get 360 degrees of resistance. Another feature I'm really excited about are these non-slip strips that we added to the inside of the band. So for context, before even going into sampling, before going to production, I ordered every best-selling band online. I went to Amazon, I went to all the different sites of like the best-selling bands. And while fabric bands are definitely like a huge step up from those rubber bands that just like snap against your skin and are uncomfortable, they still slip around if you are wearing a fuller coverage legging or if you're getting really sweaty while wearing shorts. So by adding these, it's just gonna give you that much more of a secure fit. It's gonna make it so that even on the sweatiest of workouts, even with the slickest of leggings, these are not budging. You can stay focused on your workout rather than what your band is doing. For this launch, we are releasing 2 colors and 2 levels of resistance. The yellow is the light band and the pink is the medium band. When we were selecting the colors for this first launch, I really wanted to choose colors that just made you feel happy. You look at them and it's like that precursor to feeling motivated. It's before you feel motivated, it's before you feel energized and ready for the day. It's like you look at the band and it's almost like having a cute workout outfit. You just look at it and it puts you in that headspace for like, I can get this. I'm a happy person. And when I'm a happy person, I'm a motivated person. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna glow up. The inspiration behind the bands really comes down to 2020 just being an incredibly eye-opening year. Not just in terms of, holy heck, how crazy can the world get? But especially in terms of fitness, because I feel like this whole situation has just forced me out of my little gym going bubble and made me realize how narrow my definition of fitness was. Gyms here are reopening and I canceled my gym membership. I've had a gym membership for over 10 years. I've had a gym membership for as long as I knew that like a gym membership was a thing. But fitness doesn't just exist in a gym. Fitness exists wherever and however you move your body. And especially in light of just everything that's gone on this year, I don't want to feel like my health hinges on my ability to access some building, because it doesn't. My health is determined by me choosing to show up and honor my body with activity. My ultimate vision, big picture, scary goal is to make health and wellness accessible in a way that they never have been before. So the practice of it, the education behind it, and the lifestyle around it. So much of the focus, regardless of what brand or product you look at in the fitness industry, is on doing more, is on just doing it, is on just the practice of fitness, but there's not really a lot of guidance addressing the education behind fitness or how to actually make it a lifestyle that lasts. There are plenty of other bands out there. I am not naive in thinking that this is a new concept, but the reality is the execution has been lacking. If we are trying to redefine fitness and redefine accessibility, it doesn't stop at just selling you a band. We've got to do better than that. We need to know what workouts are we doing, how are we doing them, why are we doing them, how do these fit into a larger lifestyle change? So this is where I think we can really step up, and this is what we're going to talk about next. So how do we use the bands? When you see these bands, you probably think of booty activation, booty building, booty circuits, Instagram booty, basically a whole lot of booty. But these are a much more powerful training tool than that. And when used correctly, you can actually use these to work smarter, not harder, on every workout, not just your booty workouts. Over the past couple months, I have released over 30 full-length follow-along workouts between this channel and the Team Plans YouTube channel, nearly all of which are compatible with these bands. So I can explain how to use the bands, the science behind them, what makes them effective in terms of each of these workouts. Starting with 20-minute HIIT, the name of the game with these workouts and with HIIT workouts in general is to improve power and endurance. You want to be moving fast during the intervals and then working to sustain that speed across your workout. Now, one of the common struggles that I had when I was first trying to get into HIIT, and I know a lot of you have had, is that if you do a search for HIIT workouts on YouTube, most of what you find will be high impact, hard on your joints, jumping movements. Scientifically, this makes sense because when you look at the formula for power, power equals work over time, work equals force times distance. And so by switching what would traditionally be a non-jumping movement, say a regular squat to a jumping squat, it requires you to exert a lot more force to actually jump that squat off the ground. And jumping exercises oftentimes decrease time and force you to move faster. I mean, you can't jump slow, right? You wouldn't get off the ground. So while this all scientifically makes sense, jumping movements don't always make sense for you, for your joints, for your body. I would actually argue that jumping exercises are pretty inaccessible for a lot of people, whether that's because you live in an apartment or you have a baby in another room, or you don't want to disrupt people who are sleeping, or you have bad joints, or there's some other factor that's preventing you from jumping. It's kind of unfortunate that it feels like this whole way of exercising would be off limits just because you can't do jumping exercises. So the benefit of adding a band is that this allows us to increase our force exertion, because instead of jumping to lift our body off the ground, we're adding this external resistance, which requires more force from us to move against. We're increasing the force exertion, plus adding the band can encourage you to move faster. Because if you remember what this band actually is, it's an elastic, right? The more we stretch it, the harder it is to hold that stretched position. And so by having a band on while you're doing these HIIT exercises, you don't want to be spending a long time here. There's an incentive to move faster, so you're not spending a lot of time in that really stretched position with the band. I have been using mainly the yellow band for my HIIT workouts, as I just like how light it is. I don't feel like it slows me down. I don't feel like it's fatiguing my muscles before my endurance goes, but I have started using the pink band on some of the exercises. It's really, really tough, so I'm still building up to this one. I have also been loving these bands for our full body sculpt workouts. If you haven't tried one of my full body sculpt workouts before, the name of the game with these is stability and end range strength. So if you look at one of the workouts, you haven't done one before, you're gonna feel like it combines elements of Pilates and yoga and prehab and rehab and functional training. And some of the movements are gonna look kind of funny, but the reason I love these workouts is because they help injury-proof your body and help you move better in your everyday life. Like, most injuries happen when we least expect them. We're walking, we're not paying attention, we trip, we fall, we spin our knee in a way that it's not used to moving, and boom, we're injured. This is why it is so important to train in more than one plane of motion, to train with rotation in your workouts, to strengthen your joints as well as your muscles through the entire range of motion, through that end range of motion, and in parts of the range of motion that you're not typically going to encounter by just doing strength training or just doing kind of like muscle building focused workouts. So while most of these exercises are challenging with body weight alone, if you wanted to make them a little bit more challenging, if you wanted to increase the intensity of these workouts, the drawback of adding like just a dumbbell or just a free weight is that those can only provide resistance up and down, right? Gravity, not gonna change. Whereas with a resistance band, this is going to provide 360 degrees of resistance. So whether you're moving up or down or side to side or rotating around, this band is going to be providing a constant resistance and a constant intensity throughout the range of motion. Where you may have seen these bands used before outside of just Insta Booty is with strength training workouts, exercises like squats and hip thrusts, things like that, where your goal is naturally to build strength and oftentimes also build muscle. Now, what the scientifically proven again and again concept, strategy for building muscle is that you gotta lift more weight over time. And if you're trying to lift more weight over time, it is in your best interest to lift with proper form. Of course, depending on the exercises, there's gonna be different specifics you gotta focus on when it comes to form, but regardless of the exercise, one thing that every exercise has in common if you wanna move with proper form is you gotta maintain tension throughout your body, you gotta maintain proper joint alignment. To help explain why this is important, consider hitting a baseball with a baseball bat versus a pool noodle. Which one is gonna hit the ball further? I would lean towards the baseball bat because it is transferring force more effectively. Whereas the pool noodle, you know, when you swing it, it's probably gonna bend back, and then when you actually hit the ball is probably gonna like bend it this way, and then the top's gonna go that way, and then the ball might just kind of like fall to the ground. The pool noodle is not very effective for transferring force or hitting the ball. The same is true when it comes to your form lifting. If you are maintaining tight form, if you're maintaining proper joint alignment, you are going to be very effective at transferring the force from your muscles to the weight and moving that weight. This is going to allow you to avoid injury and to progress weight and get results easier than if you were moving less effectively. The benefit of adding the band to your exercises, especially those like a squat or a hip thrust, is that this is like having a little form coach right there with you. You know, if I were with you in person, I would be touching your knee on the squat. I'd be saying, push those knees out. We don't want them caving. We don't want them bowing. We don't want them wiggling around at the bottom. Keep your knees aligned. Now, because I cannot physically be there with you, what's great about the band is that because it wraps all the way around your legs, you're getting 360 degrees of form feedback, of form reminders to keep everything aligned and keep everything in check. Of course, you can also use these for your traditional glute activation, booty finisher, builder exercises that you're used to seeing online, but something that was actually kind of unexpected and a very pleasant surprise that I've just been loving is how effective these can be for core activation, particularly activating your deeper core and pelvic floor muscles, which if you've seen my past few core videos, you know this is something I've been like really into lately, because not only are they so often ignored in your traditional core workouts that are so focused on like the six-pack muscles, but these muscle groups are so important for women to strengthen, especially if you're considering having kids in the future or you've had kids. Because hello, you're holding a human in your belly. We need to strengthen that area. So I've been loving using the yellow light band for these. It has completely transformed my body awareness around all those little muscles that exist like deep down in the core and inside the pelvic bowl. It's crazy how effective this has been for me. I will have a chart up on the website summarizing all of this, explaining which bands I recommend for which workouts, so you can choose the right band or bands for your goals. I've also already got 3 band specific videos up on the Team Plans channel. We've got a full body strength, a yoga abs, and a 20-minute hit it, as well as we've got a bunch more videos on the way this upcoming week so that you can see just how versatile these bands are. So how do we get the bands? Starting today, we'll be running a pre-sale at theteamplans.com. The reason I wanted to do a pre-sale is because this is our first time doing this. We are brand new at this. I didn't know on numbers. I didn't know how many you guys would want. So I wanted to make sure that we gave you the opportunity to pre-reserve, to secure your band, because there is no worse feeling than setting your alarm, going on a site for lunch, putting the item in your cart. When you go to checkout, the item is literally gone because someone else has took it and you are now out of stock. I hate that. I don't want that for you. I want you to be happy. I want us to be stress-free. So the way the pre-order works is it basically lets you reserve your band in advance of it arriving at our warehouse. So if you go from this video to our site, you put the band in the cart, it's not going to disappear from your cart. You complete payment now. You need to do that in order to secure your band. Once the band arrives at our warehouse, you will get an email confirmation to say, hey, the bands are in the warehouse, and you'll get another email when your band has gone out for shipping. So if you're wondering when we'll be getting the bands, what the timeline is for this, we will be running the pre-sale from 1 week from today. At that point, we will be about a few more weeks until we get the bands into our warehouse. Again, we will email you once the bands are in warehouse, and then from that point forward, like how long shipping takes to get to your location, will depend on your location, as well as if there are any local shipping restrictions. I know just with like the whole world situation right now, there are restrictions in some areas. We are shipping internationally, but that's just something to keep in mind. If you're not into the pre-sale, we will be ordering a small, very small reserve of bands that we will release as part of a general launch when the other bands, the pre-sale bands, arrive in our warehouse. We're not ordering a lot. So if you want to ensure that you get your band, if you want to make sure that there's no like last minute launch stress of getting the band, I would recommend doing the pre-sale because that guarantees you get your band. That guarantees that you're also going to get your band first before anybody who buys during the general launch. So that is my advice there. And as a bonus, we'll be releasing a brand new band workout guide that I'm so excited about because it's going to have 15 exclusive, like new, never before seen follow along workouts, including your favorites like 20-minute hit it, full body strength, full body sculpt, glute activation workouts, core activation workouts, getting into the science of why they're effective and all of that. You'll get in-depth form breakdowns for every exercise. So beyond just kind of the quick little form demos that I do when we're doing a follow-along workout, every exercise in every workout is going to have its own individual video that you can either watch before the workout or watch between workouts. If there's something you're having trouble with, you're maybe not feeling it and you need to troubleshoot it, you will get in-depth form breakdowns for every exercise. Beginner band tutorials, so if you're not familiar with bands, you're all good, as well as templates to customize your workout schedule based on your goals. So I think that's everything. I threw so much information at you in today's video. So sorry, but very excited, had to share. And I'm so glad I can share this with you. So I will link the website down below. If you have questions about the launch, if you have questions about the band, we built out a huge FAQ section on the website. We tried to answer everything we think that you might have to ask, but if there is a question that you don't see answered on there, or you're still kind of confused or curious about something, there's gonna be a little message bubble at the bottom right of the screen. That is how you can contact our support team. Alternatively, you can contact them at help@theteamplans.com. I'll put all that info below, but that is the best way to reach out. I cannot guarantee, I often do not see all of the comments on these videos, and I'm so excited about these bands. I want you to be excited about these bands. I don't want you to be stressed. I don't want you to have a question that goes unanswered and you miss the pre-sale. It's just like, no, this is a happy time. This is like, we're going on the up and up. So I built out a huge FAQ section. We've got our support team ready to answer your emails, ready to help you if you have any questions. So please direct questions there. Otherwise, I think that's it. I'm so like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Okay, it's been a long time coming. I'm so happy I can share it with you. I'm so excited to do this with you. I'm so excited to just like enter this next chapter together. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for believing in the big and scary goals. And I'm just so happy that we can do this together. So I can't wait for you to get your band, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.